all. There was a little snafu there with my webcam, so just making sure everything was working correctly before I started talking. So happy Thursday to you all. This week I remembered my coffee, so that's always a good start to the day. How is your Lent going? That's our theme. Like the Catholic minister said here on Ash Wednesday, I keep asking everybody, how is your Lent going? I hope that it's going well. Mine is going, I would say, pretty well. I always enjoy Lent every year. It's it's always in the heart of the winter here, which is cold, and so it's a good time to be feeling sacrificial, I suppose, and penitential. Last Friday, I did the first Friday of the Lenten Mercy Challenge, which involves on Fridays for your lunch, you fast on bread and water just for that meal on that day, and you pray a decade of the Rosary for a specific mercy intention. And so I did that, and I really enjoyed the challenge. It's very difficult, I think, to fast on bread and water. I did use like a little bit of honey just to put some extra nutrition in there because I don't want to feel sick as the day wears on. A little conscientious about that because I've tried this in the past and it hasn't gone well. So yeah, so that worked very well, and so today I prayed my decade, and I have an intention that I'm praying about, and I felt like it was a very solid challenge to have in front of me for this Lent. And it's certainly, it's something that's tough because I enjoy food. I do. I like eating. And so, not being able to look forward in that sense to what I'm going to be eating on Fridays is good for me. I think it's good to remember that we're in this special season, and we're doing these things to try to bear fruit spiritually for others and for our own souls. And I thought it was really good. So yeah, so far so good. So yeah, that's Lent. Yeah, keeping up with that, and we're only just beginning, a long way to go. So we're in this together. How is your Lent going? So in other news, today is my birthday, February 18th. And I'm about to go on the reference desk. Yay! Isn't that how everybody wants to start their birthday? So I'm squeezing this in before I head out there to uphold my duty as a librarian. But Mike and I are going out to dinner later. So really looking forward to that, just the two of us. We have a restaurant that we really love in the city that we had our first date at, and it's an Italian restaurant and martini bar. They have all kinds of specialty martinis, so we love it there. We always get there a little early because they have half-priced martinis at the bar during happy hour, so we'll go in and sit there for a little bit and have a martini, and then go to the table and have delicious food and another drink, of course. So and that reminds me, I have a special birthday coupon from them. I need to print that out before dinner tonight. And in fact, I'm going to write that down because if I don't, I won't have it tonight. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. And yesterday when I got home, Mike and the kids surprised me with a cookie cake, which is my very favorite. That's what I ask for on my birthday every year. And so they had gotten me one from Mrs. Fields, which is my favorite big one. I'll put a picture in the show notes because when it comes to cookie cake, the bigger the better. I think we can all agree. So we enjoyed that last night, and they had picked me up some gifts. Henry had picked out this adorable stuffed bullseye from Toy Story. Do you all know Bullseye? I love him. He is so cute. So I thought that was so thoughtful that Henry had requested that they get that for me. So I have a picture of me and Bullseye. I'll put that in the show notes too. And they had gotten me some new tea and some specialty coffee, flavored coffee from a local place here that has the biggest selection of flavored coffee and tea that I've ever seen. So they got that for me. It was really, really sweet. And so we had a nice dinner last night and enjoyed the presents. And I had Bullseye to cuddle with in the evening. So it was really nice. And tonight Mike and I are going, there's supposed to be a really nice birthday. So, birthdays. Last year, I had a milestone birthday. So this is the birthday after the milestone birthday. And, it was a milestone. I'll just keeping it real. I wasn't particularly looking forward to. And birthdays had never bothered me until I had contemplated last year's birthday. Any of the other milestones that have come and gone didn't that do bother some people. Didn't bother me at all. But this last one did bother me a little bit. Leading up to it, like in the couple of years leading up to it, I was like, man, when you're a kid and a young adult, you never see yourself advancing beyond a certain age. And honestly, in your own mind, this is the way that it seems to me now at this stage of my life. And like my dad, people who are older than I am, confirm that this is still the case for them. In your own mind, you really don't advance. You don't become an old person in your own mind. You're always like about the same age in your own head once you get past, I suppose, young childhood. So it's strange to all of a sudden be turning these ages that you remember your parents being. And now I see my parents at the age that I remember my grandparents being when I was a young child. That's hard. That's I find that that's a really hard thing to adjust to. I don't want my parents to get older. I didn't want to turn this past milestone because, just in the view, I suppose, of at least the way I perceive it out in society, it's, especially for women, I think it can be tougher that you get to be a certain age. It's like, well, it's all downhill from here. Might as well get used to not feeling good about yourself anymore and not being able to do the things you used to be able to do and not looking forward to things that, just that type of a mentality. And so it took me a little bit of time to come to terms with it. But I did. And I found that after my birthday last year, I really appreciated things in a new way because this is something in life we have zero control over. We cannot turn back the clock. So you have to accept it or just like sink into an abyss with it, which I certainly don't want to do. So I came to terms with it. And not only that, but I really came to a renewed appreciation and a new perspective on things. I think that none of us see ourselves as getting older, right? Like I just said, that's true. However, there is something much more important, I think, at play here, which is that I think, people imagine themselves living into an old age. They will be 100 or more older and just passing away peacefully in our sleep. And not a single one of us has any guarantee that that's what's going to happen. And so we don't know how many years that we have here on this earth. And there is no use fretting over how old we are and does this mean that my youth and beauty is going to be gone and what does this mean? There is just no use in dwelling on that because we have no idea if we're going to live 5, 10 more years or even 2 more days. We don't know. And so you have to simply treasure what you have. And I will say that at 40 plus, I really do appreciate things in my life now in a way that I didn't when I was younger, because I didn't have that same perspective of life is indeed very precious and very short. I think, just treasuring the relationships that you have too as you get older it just drives that home even more. So your parents, your spouse, your children, just thinking about how precious their lives are and you're just this different perspective that you have on it now. It just drives all of these points home even more. And so I don't fret anymore about, well, as much as I used to, certainly, about what do people think? Should I or shouldn't I do that? Because what will that seem? I think the slogan for when you turn 40 is, oh, that's right, I don't care. in the best possible sense. When I was in my 20s, I was always worried about I wasn't good enough. I wasn't this or that enough. I wasn't pretty enough. I wasn't all of these things. And I just spent so much anxiety. Am I ever going to meet anybody? Am I ever going to get married? Am I ever going to have a family? Things that I really wanted to do because I just seemed like this dowdy wallflower. I don't worry about that anymore. Or I always worried that I was so shy. I don't think I'm as shy as I used to be honest with you. Which I'm happy with, but I don't see anything wrong with being shy. It's okay to be shy. But back then, I really thought there was something bad about it. Like, I'm just, people are going to think that I'm unkind and I'm not friendly because I'm afraid to talk to them. And now I really don't fret about those things anymore because I am who I am. I am the way that God made me, and I can't spend all of this time worrying about how do other people perceive me? You put your best foot forward and you form relationships, and you're naturally going to click friendship wise with some people better than others, and it just is what it is. And so I never thought that way back when I was younger, and it's refreshing in its own way. I think being older and having that life experience to be able to see the world that way. So I'm just choosing to enjoy that, and I'm not going to fret about being 41. It is what it is. I don't want to be one of those women who is always hiding how old she is. I still feel very young and vibrant and active, and I take much better care of myself now than when I was younger, and I'm just going to enjoy that and revel in it, and it is what it is. And I just want to enjoy what God has given me, and my family, my friends, all of you, my job, my hobbies and avocations. I'm going to enjoy all of those things to the fullest. And that's how I see birthdays now. It's certainly, it's a reminder that the calendar has come around again, and you have another year added to your the number, but that's okay. It's not just a number. I mean, yeah, I can't do everything I used to be able to do physically, but it doesn't have to be any more than you put into it, the way that you see it, and I see it all as being good. So that's where we are in terms of birthdays. And speaking of, being active, this week I couldn't go to Zumba like I was whining about last week. So, as I had to teach, so this week I went to a Payo class yesterday, actually, which is a Pilates yoga fusion, just so that I could have a class to go to at lunchtime this week. Boy, that was kick-ass, let me tell you. And speaking of ass, mine is killing me, from the different Pilates things that we were doing to really work our muscles. I'm sore. It was a great class. I felt a little out of sorts. Luckily I did remember to bring my yoga mat, but I got there and everybody's got their mitts and their water bottle, and they set up their mat and put their water bottle down. So I did exactly what they were doing. So it looked like that I blended in. And the instructor was really good. Mostly they were students, so significantly younger than I am, but a few women there who looked to be like employees like me. So slightly older than the students that were there. And she was great about giving modifications because it's not just age. Your body, everybody's body is different, and you could have previous injuries or current injuries or different things going on in your body that you can't do everything exactly as she's showing. So she had modifications that you could employ, which was very helpful because I still got that pulled muscle in my left leg. And I worry about putting too much pressure on my knees too. So that was great. But it was intense. I was thinking it was going to be like a yoga stretch. And I'm really not very good at yoga. I'll just keep it real here. Every time she said downward dog, I'm like, oh, not again. I can't get my heels to go down in the back. I'm not flexible in the way that is good for yoga. So I do my best. So I was thinking it was going to be really stretch, and relax. It wasn't. It was high intensity. I was sweating. But afterwards, I had that very lovely endorphin high that I get from doing Pilates. It was great. It was great. But it was intense. I do enjoy Zumba more. But this was a really good class, and I would take it again. So keeping active, it's a good thing, right? And I was proud of myself for going and doing something new again, because I didn't have Stacy with me. She's out of town this week. So I just went by myself, and it was a class I'd never gone to before, and I'm out of my element with regard to yoga. I mean, really. Certain things I can't do. You know, I'm just going to stay here on my lunge. Everybody else is halfway upside down. That's okay. Um, it's really out of my comfort zone, but I tried it, and I would do it again. And I think the only way that you can get better at things that you find challenging are to keep doing them. So I will try. But how are you? How are you? I would love to hear from you. I loved hearing from some of you about your knitting and how your Lent is going. So I would love to hear from you again. How is your Lent going? What else is new with you this mid-February? And I'm looking forward to talking to you again next week. But so grateful for you all on this my birthday, thinking of you all and praying for you all. And I really enjoy this time that we get to spend together each week. And I look forward to talking to you again next week. And Brennan, I look forward to responding to you. Talk to you soon. Bye.